Good morning and welcome to my left ear. It's still morning here in Los Angeles, almost afternoon. Anyway, it's October 3rd, 2022. This is video 121. I am Carrie Freeman, and today is an anniversary of my left ear. I started it 2 years ago today, and I started it on my birthday so that I could just kind of make it a celebration and, you know, a point, just a point. So that's what's going on today. And I'm doing a video that's a little bit more loosey-goosey than I normally do. I'm just gonna generally talk about some things and have a little fun. I made a political bucket list that I'm gonna share with you. I just let it free flow. I want this, I want this, I want this, and we'll see if anybody wants to add to it. And if you've not been here before, this is a liberal and independent YouTube channel. I always like to bring some humor to it, keep bashing to a minimum, and then I share some philosophy, something called good evidence from a book that I wrote. And in my private life, I'm an author and I write. And then I do private sessions with people in person or by Zoom. And the sessions include coaching, psychic coaching, and therapeutic hypnosis. If you want to know about any of that, that's below in the description, and that's above in community. So here we go. Yeah, so I just said all this stuff that I'm reading. I had written it down, but I said all this stuff. And I just said it all. So I have this down better than I thought I had, my friends. So I do want to share one thing that is just fun. Last night I got 2 gifts and I love them. So one of them is a book of quotes by a friend of, but not, the quotes are not by a friend of mine, but a friend of mine gave me this book, and it's it's the Pocket RBG Wisdom Book of Quotes. So Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Book of Quotes, and it's by topics. So I just got it last night. I found a quote that I loved, and it's in my quotes this morning at the end of our session. So that's one. And then the other, I can't really read out loud because YouTube would not like it. So we'll see how this goes. I hope they don't ban me. But I thought this is like, you know, it's like a bag that holds things. It's really cute. I love bags. Most people love bags. Okay, so see if you can read this. Can you read that? So it says, a wise woman once said, F this shit. And she lived happily ever after. It's funny, isn't it? I love it. F this shit. And she lived happily ever after. So I love those 2 gifts. I was taken out to dinner. I'm being taken out to dinner tomorrow. But on Monday, all the good restaurants are closed in Los Angeles. So I'm just enjoying my day. And then on a serious note, a very serious note, this is with me all day long right now, that whatever I'm doing, like I had a nice meal last night with the margarita, you know, I got the gifts, blah, blah, blah. But while you and I are safe and we have food, water, electricity, and a bed, I want to send a lot of positive attention to Florida. I hope they get massive amounts of attention, recovery, supplies, food, and they get a safe, dry place to sleep and some clothes and a shower. Just wishing these basics for the people in Florida, because I can't imagine. One day you have it, everything, and one day it's gone. So it's heavy, people. All right. So, you know, I didn't do any runes today. I picked one rune for what does the week look like? And I got the rune unknowable. It's blank. There's no writing on it. There's no symbology on it. And it means things are unknowable and it could be the beginning and both the end of something. And I had been feeling, and I even said to my friend last night who does tarot, and she's very psychic, I said, you know, I don't know if I'm going to do any runes tomorrow because I feel like we're in limbo. And she said, we are. And so I'm just trusting that, okay? There's something going on that's sort of like limbo. And then when I pulled unknowable, I went, okay, all right, maybe we're not supposed to know, but just be prepared. I feel like this is going to be, you know, just more news. I mean, I don't know that that's psychic, to be honest with you, but there's more stuff, all right? And for anybody who's new here, let me just say, a lot of people, I guess, start YouTube channels. They're going to make money or be an influencer or something like that. I didn't do that. Halfway or less during the quarantine, I was like everybody. I was sitting on my sofa watching, you know, The View. And I said to myself, you know, you're going to rot if you don't do something that's very challenging and creative. You've just got to do something. This is me having a conversation with myself. And so I said to myself, because I am a coach and a therapist, I said, well, what scares you? And I said, oh, yeah, it scares me to go on YouTube and use my gifts, my intuition, my talents. And then my voice said, well, good, then do it. So that's how it got started. And then my book designer designed a logo, and then I hired somebody off Craigslist to help me set it up. And then I just punted people my first shows. And in a way, I'm still punting, you know, like you just, I write an outline, I make predictions, and some of them, a lot of them do come true. You asked about my friend in Tampa, Florida, who is okay. And her house is okay. And her children's, she's got a son and a daughter, their houses in Tampa are okay. But for a long time, as you know, if you watch the news, the hurricane Ian was like headed towards Tampa. And I really went to my left ear, and I could not find them going into trauma, and I could not feel them, you know, losing and having just enormous, you know, their roof coming off. And the news kept coming, and I kept checking. Then I checked with my friend, Ida, who ran some tarot, and she goes, no, they might have a few repairs. But it didn't make sense in terms of the news. But I'll be damned. That Ian turned, and my friends got spared, unlike a lot of people. So it turned out, but you know, I was very careful because she knows about my left ear. She's a Twitter friend. And I said, you know, I would not be responsible human being if I said to you, you're going to be okay. It's what I'm feeling, but how could I do that and be a responsible human being? This is a bleeping hurricane, one of the worst we've ever seen. So we're just so glad she's okay. And I'm just, you know, haunted by these poor people. All right, so now we're going into my little thought bubbles and little pieces of news before I get to my bucket list. These are some of my thoughts as I'm watching Florida news and I'm watching Ron DeSantis parade around, and sometimes his wife is there. I'm saying and I'm tweeting that he's posturing and he's campaigning. While he's doing this, helping, you know, with this cleanup as the governor, managing it, what my left ear honestly feels is that all the time he's thinking about a photo op and how he is appearing and posturing. It's a very cynical, you know, thing I'm saying. I know that. I don't like being cynical, but I honestly feel it and I hear it. And he's got his wife asking for cash donations instead of staples and supplies. People have been contacting Florida. Well, what can we send? We want to mail things. Staples. No, don't mail. Send cash. Send money. So it feels odd to me. Can I just say it feels a little odd? And I would not be sending any money to DeSantis in Florida. That would be to the people who cook. That would be to Chef Andres and the other kitchen that I mentioned in my community section that you could send $5 to. You know, yesterday they fed 20,000 people. They come in like a little city where they're all prepared. They have everything, and then they sleep there. And they just come in like a city, and they cook, and they cook, and they feed, and they feed. And it's miraculous. I heard it wasn't Chef Andres, it was another person who does something similar. And it's just an amazing angel. Now here's something really cool. Last week, Beto O'Rourke debated Greg Abbott in Texas, but Abbott insisted no audience because he's afraid. He's afraid that someone's going to heckle him or complain or say, Uvalde, you failed. So they did it televised, but if you hear something, Pete's getting into a bag I left over there with cookies in it. I might have to get it. Hey, Pete, nope. Darn. If it gets bad, I'm going to jump up and grab the bag from him. I'm sorry. Anyway, Beto O'Rourke devoured Greg Abbott in this debate. I mean, he just, like the Roadrunner. And Beto's numbers went way up. He got a huge spike. He had been behind Abbott, and now he's ahead of Abbott. I think about eight points. And then there's this thing in the news, about Trump making a veiled death threat to the turtle, Mitch McConnell. And it was big, and it was in writing, and he capitalized, you have a death wish, and then he insulted Elaine Chao, his alleged wife, Turtle's alleged wife, because that's a business arrangement, by the way. But it's really ugly. But here's the thing. All over every news show, taking it apart, analyzing it. Well, no Republican is stepping up. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people? This is to be expected. This is what Donald Trump does. This is who he is. Move on. Let's get rid of him. But it's like they're acting like surprised. Donald Trump, 45, has caused death at the Capitol and through COVID and circumstances we don't know about, and political violence. That's the fact. All right, Ukraine. I personally am hoping and praying that Ukraine is accepted into NATO, and then they will have a force behind them. Then they will have the force with them. Okay, I'm gonna have to do it. Excuse me, I'll keep talking, but you should see what Petey's up to. He's going crazy over the chocolate chip cookies. I'm giving chocolate chip cookies to my neighbor for letting me use his parking space. So Petey just had this around his neck, and it was going to get worse if I didn't get up and do that. I'm sorry. I should always put him in the bedroom because, he gets into things. All right, Ukraine, NATO. And I think NATO's going to take them in. And then when that happens, there's just so much power behind Ukraine. It's like a huge force. It scares Putin. Putin is the last thing he wants, but Putin is getting more and more isolated. I mean, we really know what's going to happen. So there is this overall feeling that I get from absorbing the news and reading. There's this sort of an assumption now that Ukraine is going to take back their country and Ukraine is going to win. Nobody really knows how Putin might do it, save face. But my point with this is that since so many people think that, feel it, talk about it, it's a very big positive focusing, which means it will even help Ukraine. It's an energy because we're all looking at it like they're going to win and they're going to rebuild and they're going to win. And if everybody's thinking that and assuming it, that is really manifestation. And it's just a positive that I want to mention to you. Now, Here's my political bucket list. And I no explanations. I just went, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. If I say something that is, I don't know, somehow inaccurate, you will let me know, because I made some mistakes last week. I don't even want to mention them because I was embarrassed, but I saw that I was a little distracted last week in a couple of different ways. So it happens, and thank you for letting me know, people. I'll be more careful next time. All right, so here we go. Here's the list. Codify Roe v. Wade. Codify voting rights and fix gerrymandering. This is like, you know, if we get 2 more Dems in the Senate, and I think 1 added to the House. Put laws in place to arrest domestic terrorists and, assign them a lot of years in jail. Just make it, because we don't have anything about domestic terrorism. It's crazy, and it's going on in our country. So we've got to put some laws in place about domestic terrorism and extremist acts and extremist groups. They're probably, well, anyway, let me stop there. There needs to be some laws so these people can be arrested and fined and thrown in jail forever. I say Germany did this. Ban Nazi flags. Ban them in the United States, and ban Nazi parades. I don't care. Ban them. Term limits for SCOTUS. Term limits. You think I'm serious about that? I am. Somehow get rid of the book banning. Somehow wipe that out. Like, no more book banning. Prohibit stock trading in the Senate, the House, and the judiciary, and any close family members. Get rid of, because most of them are cheating. They're getting a heads up on things that are coming, pharmaceutical or whatever, and they're making money. Stop it. That was really big in Georgia, by the way, with 2 people who lost last time. All right, and then I think that we need to advance and improve police training seriously. We need to vet police candidates for hate, extremism, dark history. We need to vet them. And ban assault rifles, of course. Up the age of purchase of guns to 21 and make a 3-day waiting period. All right, so that's what I regurgitated. I'm sure there's more, but these things, if we have a Democratic House and Senate, they're not crazy. They're not impossible. And they'd be very good for the United States. All right. Good evidence, people. Unfortunately, this is about me. Sometimes good evidence is about other people, but here it is. I just found out a few days ago, because my numbers have been going up, like my subscribers or people watching up. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Why is that happening? And evidently YouTube has been recommending my left ear. And so people have been visiting and subscribing. Well, that's really cool. And that's good evidence. So I'm not sure, and you may know, I think it has to do with how many likes I get. So keep that in mind, and please hit the like button. For the moment, I've lost my YouTube mentor because he has so much work going on. So I'm kind of flying out here with nobody to call or talk to, and I'm doing my best. That's why I'm not sure why the numbers are going up. All right, so here's the quote from Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She said, I read every federal case that had to do with women's equality or the lack thereof, and every law review article. Now that seems like quite an undertaking, but in fact, it was easily manageable because there was so little. She really said it. Said there was so little, so few cases that had to do with women's equality at all. And she read everything, which sounds overwhelming. But she said, no, it wasn't that, it was easy because there's so little. So I'm gonna go through this whole book. This is gonna be fun, you know, because I love the quotes. Anyway, make peace, make memories. Stuff is sure to tumble in the news, and I'll see you towards the end of the week. I'm getting wined and dined this week. Just very fortunate. So that's my week. I'll do some writing, and then there's going to be some juicy stuff to chew on when I come back. So thank you. And oh, you know, let me say one thing, because last year, see, I'm forgetful today. I'm going to grab something. So hold on one more time. One more time. One more time. Last year, you guys made donations and you helped me buy these sunglasses, which you see I still have and I love. So I just wanted to share. I still love them and I still have them. If anybody wants to do anything nice for me, I'll put some links in my community section. But you know, you might want to drop in and sign up for 1 or 2 months of my Patreon channel, because half of the shows are these really entertaining celebrity stories. Even if you're not into the runes, the celebrity stories I take a lot of time with, and they're usually fun. So those are 2 ways that you could make a contribution. And I thank you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.